Khorne is all about skulls, blood, and collecting plenty of each. Their faction revolves around constant battling and destruction to progress both their armies and settlements. Let's take a look and see just how to play them in 2025. First up, let's start with their racial mechanics, and first of all we have skulls and the Skull Throne. Their unique currency is of course skulls. These are primarily gained via post-battle loot and raising settlements, though they can also be gained via skull piles which form in heavily Khorne corrupted provinces. You can then spend them on a number of different things. Occupying settlements cost you a large number of skulls, but there's a way to get around this I'll come back to in a moment. You can choose to summon Blood Host armies post-settlement battle. These are temporary armies that cost no upkeep but cannot be recruited to or replenished. After a number of turns they'll start taking heavy attrition before they're wiped out, but this can be delayed by keeping them constantly battling. Certain projects in the research tree also require skulls, and last but certainly not least we have the Skull Throne. From here you can spend large amounts of skulls to grant your faction a number of powerful temporary bonuses. You start with just the bottom tier available, but the more skulls you spend on the Skull Throne, the more options you unlock as displayed on the left. As mentioned, all of these are temporary, so can be used multiple times over the course of a single campaign. The effects vary, but it's a selection of powerful effects for your regions and armies that are all useful depending on the exact situation. Honestly, all of them are very self-explanatory on when is the best time to use them, so I'll save you some time here and let you work them out for yourself. The bottom line with skulls is you want to collect as many as you can, but won't really have to go out of your way to do it. Constant battling is the norm of any campaign, but especially Khorne, as long as you play the game, you should have plenty. Pick up any skull piles you spot for a nice added boost, and be sure to be spending them in the Skull Throne as often as you can to not only score your faction some powerful bonuses, but also work on unlocking those higher tiers as early as you can. This mechanic can really help you move your campaign along a lot faster and smoother, so do not sleep on this mechanic. And don't be afraid to summon Blood Hosts whenever you can afford to. It helps to have one following your main army as it turns the tide of any battle in your favour, and they more than pay for themselves with the battles they allow you to win. Next up, bloodletting, and this is essentially how satisfied each of your armies are with the level of battle they've been involved in. Every battle you win contributes the bloodletting meter, and the more you win, the higher you'll rise through the tiers. However, inactivity for any reason will cause decay and eventual penalties for the army, so it pays to keep them active. Higher tiers of bloodletting grant your armies very powerful bonuses to upkeep costs, replenishment, corruption, and global recruitment, whereas the lowest tier reduces corruption and attack. All this boils down to the fact that you just need to be battling on a very regular basis. Spending some turns recruiting is fine, but just try to keep your armies out of that bottom tier as much as possible, as 5 melee attack can make a serious difference to the roster. Don't battle when you're not able to, as losing is worse than not battling at all, but make an extra effort to find targets to keep your armies busy. Honestly, it's a bit of a win more mechanic. If you are already doing well, your armies will thrive. If not, it really does make things into a struggle. Next we have Drawn to Destruction, and this is the way to get around spending massive amounts of skulls on occupying settlements. If you instead occupy one settlement per region and raise the rest, you can leave things to Drawn to Destruction. All this is a percentage chance every turn that raised settlements will automatically be colonized at no initial cost to your faction. That percentage can be increased by research, faction abilities, corruption, and a whole lot more, but the bottom line is you want to get it as high as possible, as fast as possible, and that's for one very important reason. Whenever you raise a settlement, it becomes devastated for 3 turns, which basically means it cannot be interacted with or colonized for the duration. They can be drawn to destruction, but no other faction can take them during that time. However, once this ends, you can bet your muscular red ass that another faction will hop on that like it's Volkmar looking for the cure to baldness. The best way to ensure you capture settlements first and maximize your chances of drawing to destruction is as follows. Pick up some corruption skills on your lords and heroes. Yep, I know they seem boring, but high corruption gives your chances a hefty boost, so is well worth it in the long run. Besides, it's hardly like skill points are ever in short supply. Grab any research that increases the percentage, such as Spread Rage, which you can start working on from turn 1. Whenever you have a few settlements you're trying to capture, it's well worth using the Dissipation Domain Skull Throne ability. Not only does it grant a flat increase to the percentage, it also increases the corruption, helping your chances even more. If you do all of this, you should be capturing settlements left, right, and center. Just make sure you get that first settlement in the region to get the wheels turning, and you should have a great time. They also have access to their own flavor of corruption, and this is spread via the usual methods of buildings, characters, and commandments. High levels cause all non-chaos armies to take attrition, increases the chances of demonic units coming back after dying in battle and the amount of HP they gain, increases control, the attack of all Khorne units locally, the percentage chance of drawn to destruction, and of course lowers the amount of all other corruption. Like most Chaos factions, Khorne has access to the Unholy Manifestations. This is a set of 4 abilities that unlock as the amount of Khorne corruption increases map-wide. Their abilities allow them to summon a small army to attack one of your armies, which is great for maintaining a high level of bloodletting or just farming some extra skulls. Immediately capture some ruins to secure a settlement when drawn to destruction isn't getting the job done fast enough. Increase the XP gain of a lord, which is of course great for speedily leveling someone up. and instantly raise a target settlement, which is obviously pretty damn strong. If their Flavor of Corruption is the dominant type on the map, then these abilities become empowered. Eternal War now increases your movement range post-battle victory, allowing you to give a bloodletting and movement boost all in one. Khorne's Glare immediately captures the settlement at tier 2, getting you a head start on construction and growth. Slaughter Incarnate doubles the XP gain for even faster leveling, and Call of Battle now fully corrupts the entire region, making invasion into a breeze. All of these abilities have no cost, so the only thing you have to worry about is the cooldown. Make sure you're using them as regularly as you can, as the effects can be extremely powerful when used at an opportune moment. Lastly, their commandments. Spillblood is very strong for gaining control of a settlement, both in terms of actual control and spreading corruption to its and neighbouring provinces, plus if any plague comes by, it has a much reduced chance of spreading. Kill for Khorne is great for cheaper, faster, and better recruitment. Blood Tribute is great for more income and less costs, and Monuments of Rage is great for building up your provinces and magical reserves in your armies. That second part might seem pointless since Khorne doesn't use magic, but actually, high levels gives them some decent bonuses, so everything helps. Now we come to the factions. First up, we have the Exiles of Khorne, led by Skarbrand the Exiled. Just in case you didn't get it from the name, the faction is exiled from Khorne after Skarbrand pants the Blood God at the last Bloodrican National Convention, so all of the Khorne factions don't take too kindly to you. However, being hated by everyone comes with some advantages, such as being able to replenish in foreign territory to be healed and ready for a fight at all times. Alongside this, all characters in the faction spread corruption, allowing you to paint the map red wherever you go with ease. Skarbrand is also a Bloodhost expert, granting them larger armies on creation and giving them more time before they're reduced to atoms. His army is all about two things, and by things, I mean units. And by units, I mean Bloodthirsters and Soul Grinders. These late game monsters are some of the most powerful and expensive options in the faction, and once you get to them, you'll enjoy cheaper upkeep and regeneration whenever they're in melee, making these guys seriously powerful to spam. Lastly, his army harvests increased skulls per kill in battle, so put him to work and have a never-ending supply for stacking on the throne. Skarbrand is the most straightforward of the Khorne campaigns, as he really does just want to brawl in those Badlands. I'd take the fight north to keep things habitable if I were you, but the world really is your oyster. Just remember, literally everyone hates you, so be ready for a lot of wars, but all that really means is even more skulls. Make use of as many blood hosts as you can for constant assistance in battle, and try to focus on anything that improves them to really lean into his gimmick. Once you make it to those late game monsters, spam the hell out of them for a very small yet large army of devastating monsters capable of harvesting an insane amount of skulls. Next up, the Blooded Wanderers, led by Skulltaker. His unique mechanic is the Cloak of Skulls. This all runs off a new currency called Champion's Essence. You earn this by defeating enemy lords, and the more powerful the lord, the greater the reward. You can then spend this in the Cloak of Skulls to gain a large number of powerful effects for Skulltaker and the faction. It works like a tree starting from the bottom, meaning you have to connect the dots to reach the options along the top. There are far too many effects to go through one by one, but if you max this out, you'll have skulls and blood hosts coming out of your ears, a nearly unkillable lord and army, and much more. The best way to maximize the value of this one is to hunt lords with a lot of essence down whenever possible. This is made easier by the ability to teleport enemy lords you pick up from the middle skull. Just make sure you're traveling to a battle you can win, so you don't wind up stuck in hostile lands with no way out. As for his other faction effects, as essentially the Khorne ass-kissing champion of the world, aka the greatest bloodletter, he brings a number of bonuses for his lesser brethren with reduced upkeep and increased chances of coming back when defeated in battle. Alongside this, he can make much more use of the Blood Reapers, which are essentially the Skulltaker we have at home. His army is perfect for hunting down enemy lords with that increased movement and vision range, allowing him to spot targets and close the distance in no time. Lastly, any bloodletters in his own army gain Frenzy for a hefty damage boost, at least while they're feeling confident. Skulltaker is really all about headhunting. You want to make like a recruiter and find the most qualified candidate you can, but instead of ghosting them by way of AI screening, you want to instead get to their location and decapitate them by any means necessary. You want to use their power to enhance yourself and turn Skulltaker and his army into a roaming Death Trooper squad capable of taking on anyone. Honestly, if you max out the cloak, things can get insane, so farm essence and pour it into this thing whenever you can. Mechanics aside, make sure to use plenty of bloodletters to elevate their power even higher than usual and become a devastating infantry-based faction. Lastly, we have the Challengers of Khorne, led by Arbaal the Undefeated. With over 300 years of undefeated battles under his belt, Arbaal has a pretty strong claim at the top of the pound-for-pound power rankings of Warhammer 3. But what is the title if it's not defended? And so his mechanic sees him teleporting around the map, taking on various challenges in the form of powerful lords and armies. This teleportation costs Khorne's favour, but completing these battles earns you it right back. These battles come in 3 tiers of worthy, perfect and ultimate, and the higher you go, the more challenging the battle, but the larger the reward in the form of money, which is also called favour, confusingly enough, Khorne's favour, and favourable effects for your faction. You can also teleport to your capital settlement so you don't have to worry about getting stuck in a location, provided you beat the battle first. Khorne's favour can also be spent on a number of powerful effects from the right of this menu. Again, I won't go through each one, but you're looking at mostly bonuses to your armies, both during and post-battle, and you can have up to 3 of them active at once. All of these cost a certain amount of upkeep per turn instead of flat costs, so you have to continually be completing challenges to maintain power. Honestly, instead of playing traditionally, I'd advise capturing your starting province and then alternating Arbaal between recruiting and healing at home and teleporting off to complete challenges. Once you have some income stocked up, you can get a second army on the go if you've got a hankering for some normal conquest, but you really don't have to worry about it if you don't want to. Rewards from challenges are enough to sustain you easily, especially if you go for the high tiers, and victory conditions don't require you to take out any particular faction as long as you get those settlement interactions. As for his other faction effects, challenges aside, as a non-demon, Arbaal prefers the company of other mortals, not only being able to upkeep them for cheaper, but also building their recruitment buildings cheaper and faster so he can get a hold of them earlier. He also misses out on the unholy manifestations, but he's not demonic, so it's only fair. The non-demonic prejudice continues in his army with increased weapon strength and the Hellblade ability for most non-demonics, granting them even more power as they rack up kills in combat. Lastly, to aid with all the map hopping, his army has a reduced duration for global recruitment to help him stay at full strength whilst on the move. The focus for Arbaal really is on the challenges. As soon as they're unlocked, you want to be completing one every other turn at least, both to maintain favour to pay for any bonuses, but also since they're the best way to earn rapid income for the faction. Aim to build up his army as best you can, and have a second one doing any traditional conquest, and you should have a great time. Prepare to be in the red for a lot of the game, but that's just part of the course of any faction that focuses so much on battle income. Aside from all of this, try to use non-demonic units as much as you can, as they really do get so many strong effects that they can easily outshine their demonic counterparts. And that's everything there is to know about Khorne in 2025. Let me know any questions you have in the comments below and I'll do my best to help you out. Like, subscribe, and if you want more Warhammer 3 faction guides, then check out this one all about Siege.